All right, hello everyone. In this video, we are going to be going over how to use keyframings in the app. Now, keyframing is the bread and butter of what pan tilt slides can do. It's a great way of repeating motions and doing very, very smooth, coordinated motions. This can be good for macro photography, macro videography, for interview shots, for product photography, for visual effects, all kinds of stuff. It's very, very useful. And it's nice because you can use it to just repeat motions at different speeds. It's very, very cool. So we are going to do a quick demo of how you can use this, and then you'll be on your way and you can use the app. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to open our app, we're going to connect to it. Check out the previous video if you haven't done that yet. We've got the batteries installed, we're good to go. So we're going to open the main menu in the top left, and we're going to select Keyframes. Once Keyframes is open, we can see our feed. And what I'll do is I'll explain this, and then we'll go through and actually do a quick shot. So we've got our video feed here. Then what we have is we have our waypoints. So we've got some points here already programmed, and we can actually add more. So we can just keep adding points over and over again, and we can have lots so that it can go through multiple points and multiple motions, doing whatever you want. Usually 2 points actually does a lot for you, whether it's interview or product or whatever. So then below that, you can see we have set, go, edit, and delete. If I want to go to this point, maybe just to set up my shot, I can click go. If I want to edit the point, I can click edit. And then setting the point to my current location is set. So wherever AXIBO is pointing at that moment, you click set and it's going to save that so that you can repeat that motion. If I don't like the point, I can delete it. Below that, we have our settings. So here we can change the ramping. So this here is the ramp control. So we can change it so it's very slowly ramping in, so it's a very low acceleration. Makes for a very, very smooth shot. And we can have a higher ramp. This is good if you need quick transitions between points. Finally, in the controls page, we have a play button, and we have a next button, and then as well as stop. Then we also have repeat and loop. Now, these are very handy features if you are doing an interview, for example, or doing a product shot where maybe you don't want to drive AXIBO. You just want to set it up, let it run, and then you can work on setting up your subject. And that's what repeat and looping are really good for. Repeat is basically do the motion, return home. Do the motion, return home. And looping is when we do the motion mirrored over and over again very smoothly. So let's set up some points and let's do this. So for the first one, I'm going to maybe just jog it so I'm looking there. I'm looking kind of at the camera. And I'm going to set that position. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look over, I'll look this way. And I'll look down a little bit as well. And then I'm also going to move the slider. Actually, let's go the other way with the slider. So we're going to move the slider along. Again, you might be hearing actually a little bit of a buzz from the slider. And again, that's because we're using the high torque mode slider. And that one's really cool because you can do stuff like this. So if you want to do keyframes that are on an angle, this slider's got a lot of power and it can lift a lot of weight. So even bigger cameras than what we're using now, you'll be able to do that. So then we're going to set point 2. So I'm going to set that. Now let's say I want to edit the time. So I want this shot to maybe take 5 seconds. Maybe it's a VFX shot for a video. Or maybe I want it to take an hour. You can do that by editing. And then here you can either type in manually the time you want, or you can just use the slider to pick a time that's kind of convenient. And I'll just pick 10 seconds because that's the fastest. And what I'll do is before I run it, what I'm going to do is, so you can see I kind of made a mistake there. So you hit the X button. That X button will always be available to you. You press it, and it's going to stop the motion that you're doing. So I'm going to click 1 and I'm going to click go to, and it's going to move to that first point. So it's going to do that so that we can set up and we can start our shot. And I'm just checking that the first point is what I wanted, just to make sure I did it right. And then what I'll do is I'll click play. And now what it's going to do is it's going to go and it's going to run through those points that we had set. And it's going to do that at the time we set as well. So it finishes precisely at that time. And it's going to do it as many times as you want. So if you want to launch it again, you can. If you want to launch it so that it's in looping mode, you can also do that. There's a lot of fun features that you can use here. And again, don't be afraid to add many points. So we can just add them here straight from the joystick. You can see that we have lots of points. So it's going to go through all these points. And you can delete them if you don't want them as well. So I hope this was a useful tutorial for keyframes. If you're looking for something more specific like interviewing and tracking and stuff, check out some of our other videos. I hope that was helpful.